Hey Cougars, and welcome to quarter four. For this presentation, for this video, you should follow along with the Pear Deck below. Please don't forget that to answer the questions as you go, and then when you get to the end, make sure you click the arrow to get to the very end until it asks you to submit. Make sure you submit the Pear Decks. Last quarter, I was very lenient on these. This quarter, I will not be. So if you don't turn them in, you'll be getting minimum points for these. So please make sure you answer all the questions. They're very easy. They're about you, and so that I can get in touch with you and just reconnect after our break. I hope you had a great one. I had a good one. What is something you did over spring break? Please tell me in the Pear Deck. Let me know what you did. I personally didn't do a whole lot. I got my second COVID shot and spent the last couple of days dealing with that. And I also did some writing, way not enough, put it that way, but still I got some done and had a good time hanging out with my daughter. So that was my spring break. How do you feel about the start of quarter four physics? How are you feeling? Hopefully you're feeling rested and ready to go, but maybe you had a rough start in quarter three. Please tell me, drag that dot to where you are feeling. Maybe it's kind of in the middle, kind of so-so, drag that dot, and I will be checking that on Tuesday morning, actually. All right, thank you. So in this lesson, I'm going to go briefly over today's agenda, which you should already have done and figured out, but just in case, just as a review, and just in case there are some of us that maybe were really lost last term, we want to make sure that you are ready to go and take care of business. We're going to go over quarter four topics, the new stuff we're going to be learning. It's really exciting. I think you'll have a lot more fun this time because we'll be getting into some more modern stuff and applying a lot of the things we've learned in interesting situations. We will, however, be using important skills from quarter three. So we're going to look at those. We're also going to look at some important ideas from quarter three and just make sure that you understand that what we learned before spring break is still important and it hasn't gone away. We will talk about some changes to the course in quarter four. There are a couple more that we won't talk about today that we will introduce to you as we come upon those, but I definitely need to introduce you to a couple. And the last one, especially for those, well, only for those of you that maybe had a D or an F in quarter three, we will talk very briefly about credit recovery and how you might have an opportunity during this quarter to recover your quarter three grade without having to take summer school or retake the class altogether. That is great news. So key into that, those of you that might need that. Today's agenda. You should have already done this, but just in case, you should have read the weekly agenda, which is the overview of the entire week. Some of it's not open in Canvas yet, so make sure you're looking at that agenda in Canvas. Make a plan. This week, we're grading it. In the future, we are not going to be grading these because you should already be making those. They are essential, especially for distance learning, for hybrid learning, to accomplishing complicated tasks and staying on top of things. So keep that in mind. Do that. You should still plan even if we don't always ask you to turn that in. This time you will. Motivational Monday. I've got a couple of motivational videos I've put together with some questions just to kind of get you motivated and thinking about what are we working towards? Where are we moving with all of this? I think it's even more important when our lives have been so disrupted, and it's been a while. We're over a year now, and yes, things are getting better, but it's still not easy. So that doesn't mean we can't achieve our dreams. That's part of what it means to be a dream chaser and a dream seeker, is to deal with adversity and keep pressing forward. And I think that's really been my watch phrase, especially the last 6 months, is let's keep moving forward, keep your head up and keep going. Together, we can make some good progress and do some good things for the rest of this year. You will make a vocabulary aid. I prefer that you make flashcards. You do have new energy vocabulary. The great news is it's a small list. The bad news is some of the units and words are so similar. You have to pay attention and make sure that you are learning the correct definition with the correct word, and you got to know it, because we're going to be talking about work, potential energy, kinetic energy, and we're going to be going back and forth. While not super difficult, you do need to have it kind of squared away in your brain what's going on. And then what you're watching right now, welcome to quarter 4. So once again, welcome. Okay, so in this quarter, we have 3 primary units that we're going to cover. We may branch out into a 4th one that we've had to cut because of the hybrid learning and distance learning stuff. But the first one that we are in right now is unit 3, which is energy. If you don't get anything else out of this course, this is the #1 concept that you will use in your chemistry class. You will use it in your biology class. You will use it in every engineering class you ever take. Any science or engineering class you take, you will deal with energy of some kind. So really important that you key into this stuff. The next unit will be about waves. And this has to do with any kind of motion that's repeated. This could be mechanical waves. This could be electromagnetic waves. It could deal with sound, light. It's really fascinating, a lot of fun. There are tons of practical applications that we're going to get to talk about, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with that unit. And then we'll talk about electricity and magnetism. That is one of my most favorite topics in all of physics, because our lives are just surrounded by electronics, and it's amazing how electricity works and all that good stuff. If we have time, we may have some stars and galaxies and some astronomy type stuff we might also be able to put in here. We'll see if we have time, but that is a brief overview of the topics that we're going to be covering during this time. Now, going into this quarter, there are some skills, some things that you're going to have to be able to do that you learned last quarter that you're still going to have to do. So identifying parts of the experiment. What's the independent variable? Remember, it's the input into the experiment. What's the dependent variable? It's the result of the experiment. What are the controls? What are the things that we're trying to control and keep the same in our experiment? You're going to have to be able to identify those, and then you're going to have to write a hypothesis. There were quite a few of us that struggled with writing a hypothesis, and so we're going to come back and hit that and make sure that we are understanding, because when you get to chemistry, you're going to use the same hypothesis format, and might as well learn it and get it correct, so that that's something that's easy. Vocabulary, vocabulary, vocabulary. Words have specific meaning, especially in science, and their usage in science is like learning a whole new language. So please be studying those periodically. Every quiz, every weekly quiz will have vocab words. So please study your words. Also, don't forget to study your variables, your units, and your quantities, okay? CER, claim, evidence, and reasoning. We will be doing more claim, evidence, reasoning, writing in our labs. We will also do a couple more presentations where this is concerned, and we're going to step up our game a little bit, if you will. But what we've already been doing, we're going to keep doing, and we're going to get better at it. 7-step problems. 7-step problems is the linchpin of physics. For most traditional physics classes, they are not going away. In fact, they're actually going to start increasing in complexity. We're going to be joining different quantities together and seeing how we can figure out very interesting things based on how different quantities are related to each other. And we're going to do that using the 7-step process. We are also going to continue reading graphs and tables and reading data. So you're going to have to keep doing that. So as we plan the next few weeks, me, the teacher, which of these skills do you want us to review with the whole class? So I'm gonna go back here. Parts of the experiment: studying vocab, claim evidence reasoning, 7-step problems, reading a graph. Of those, which ones do you want us to review with the class? As a like, we'll have an assignment, we'll practice it. There might be even be a little more explanation, maybe explaining it in a different way. We'll go over it again. Which thing do we need to go over again? Tell me what you think. Put something down. If you have a suggestion on how you need the help with that, if it's 7-step problems and you want to see something that's a little more complex than what we're doing, because that might help you, I'd be happy to show you. If it's how do we draw, actually, we're going to do that this week, but if you can be specific with what your need is, that will also be helpful. Okay. The last was skills. These are ideas or concepts from last quarter that are not going away. Force, gravity, weight, velocity, acceleration, Newton's 3 laws, first, second, and third law, the scientific method in general. So these are concepts that you do need to understand. And I would even argue the skills follow this rule too. But if you need help with one of these, you need to come to tutorials and go, hey, Mr. Franklin, can we go over how this thing called weight actually works? And I'll be happy to spend 2 to 5 minutes going through it with you. Okay, it won't take very long, especially because you'll be able to ask me questions and we'll be able to talk back and forth. I can find out what you don't understand and we can do it very fast. So which one of these do maybe you need to start planning right now to come and see me during tutorial time? And the best way to schedule that at this point right now, email me. Email me, hey, Mr. Franklin, I'd like to come to tutorial this week. When would you like to do it? We'll have that conversation and then we'll set up a time. It'll probably be the 1:50 to 2:55 or whatever the set time is, but email me and we can set something up, okay? All right. New in Q4. So these are some procedures or some things that are going to be different in Q4. When we get to them, you'll see how it actually is going to work. But reflections are no longer going to be at the end of the week. And in fact, they're not going to be reflections like we've been doing at all. They are going to be basically a reflection of on the feedback that you got on your homework from the prior week. In other words, it's going to be basically a feedback journal where you're going to look at the feedback I've given you, comment on it, think about it. What did you learn from it? What do you not understand? So that's kind of what that's going to be. There will be more details when we get to it next week. For now, we've also added, we kind of did this in our class. This is different for some of the other classes, but in our class, we had a live session 1 and a live session 2. Well, now we're going to go ahead and just do a daily warm-up and check-in. To start off with, they're probably going to be teacher-led to start off with, but once we get into it and I see that people know what they're doing, there will probably be student-paced, and you'll jump in, be able to knock those out real quick and go about your business. Part of it depends on what these are about, but they will be anywhere from 2 to 4 slides. It will conclude the daily warm-up, or include the agenda. It might include a warm-up, and it will help you get ready for that day's work. Because I think part of what happens is you read the agenda and some of us are getting overwhelmed when all you really need to do is, what do I need to do today? And how do I do it? And you just get to it and you just do it. Okay, so that's the goal. So this is not meant to take very much time. It's meant to be able to get you thinking about what you need to do right now. It's also going to help you get some points, very simple points, which will help some of you with your grade. It will also be used by us to track attendance. It's a better way for us to track attendance, especially on those days when maybe you're not in class. Assignments due time has been changed to 3 p.m., which is the end of tutorial time. So if an assignment is due on Tuesday, it's going to be due at 3 p.m. Now, the late policy hasn't changed. So there's no penalty for being late, but I know that some of you having a deadline helps you focus and get things done. What we are seeing is the people that are working in class on assignments during class time are getting things turned in and getting their stuff done. That's more of just a help to help you focus and get it done. You turn it in, I will grade it for full credit, right? Okay. All right. Pretend an adult asks what we've covered in this class, in this lesson. Can you summarize what this lesson was about? Pause the video and write that in the Pear Deck for me. Write a complete sentence, please, or two. All right. Last thing, this does not apply to everyone. This only applies to those of you that earned a D or an F in quarter 3. So if you got a C minus or better, then you can, if you got a D or an F, however, it's complicated. Bottom line is there is a large potential that you may have to take the class again. However, we in the physics department have come up with a way for you to recover quarter 3 credit by the end of quarter 4 so that you can keep moving forward. Like I said, that's kind of my watchword that I've been focusing on the last 6 months. That's part of it. Keep moving forward. So we really want to help you get to a place where you can move forward. We don't want you to have to be dealing with, okay, I need to take the physics again or not, if we don't have to. There may be circumstances out of your control, and that's just the only way we're going to have to do it, because physics is important and we've got to do it. But let's try to do it now while I can help you and work with you on stuff. So, step 1, if you want to recover credit, you've got to email me. You've got to message me through Canvas, go to Google email, one of those 2 items, and tell me, Mr. Franklin, I had a D. I want to get my C. Okay, I will help you. And we will make a plan and we will work towards it. Okay. Hey, Mr. Franklin, I'm one of the students who had an F and I want to get my D because a D is better than an F. Or I want to get my C. Okay. Then we're going to have to work for it. Okay. So it's not just going to be, you tell me you want it and I'm going to give it to you. You're going to have to do some work for it. But we've worked some things into this quarter that are not really extra work. They're part of the normal assignment. But if you can demonstrate that you did that, you had to have learned the material from last quarter. So that's one of our reasonings behind it. And we hope that we can get your grade up, because we want you to be happy and moving forward as much as possible. You've got to contact me. You've got to contact me, because communication is going to be key for me to be able to reach out to you and help you to, almost be just like your parents going, hey, let's do this. Hey, where's this assignment? Okay, those kinds of things. But here's what you're going to wind up doing basically. We're going to work on a plan specifically, but if you want your quarter 3 grade to be a D, you need to have at least a 75% or better for quarter 4. There are some specific assignments that will also help you recover credit apart from the grade, but number 1, you have to get a 75% or better. And if you will show up to class and do the work that's assigned every day, maybe you don't get it all 100%, but if you're showing up to class and you're turning in the work, I promise you, a 75% is not difficult to achieve, okay? Now, for us to raise your grade to the C, you're gonna have to show a little more work than you most likely put out during the quarter 3. So you're gonna have to get an 85%. That is not impossible, okay? Especially since if I grade something at a 70% and you make corrections and turn it back in, I will regrade it for up to full credit. It is very possible to have 100% credit in my class. So what I really want to encourage you to do is email me and attend tutorials as well. But however we do it, we need to come up with a plan of checks and balances so that we can be locked in and moving forward, and so that you're working and doing the work that you need to do to be successful, and that you're able to move forward. Okay. I understand there's probably some reasons why you're in the boat that you're in. We're not going to, point any fingers or do anything like that. I want to help you. So make sure that you communicate with me, and we will do our best to get you taken care of. And even if we're sitting in tutorials and you're not asking me questions, but I'm going, hey, let's do assignment 3.1, 1.1. Go ahead and do that right now. And it's just, I'm there to just help you focus and help you work. You know what I mean? So, because I know how hard it is to work when you don't have something to help you focus. So anyway, I could talk about this a lot. I'm passionate. I want to help you, and I want you to be successful. And I really want you to be able to be at the end of this year, be done and ready to move on into your sophomore classes, take chemistry, and be successful there. All righty. How do you feel about the start of Q4 physics? How are you feeling? Let me know that. And please make sure that you click to the end once you've told me that, and then submit to get your grade for this presentation. That's all I've got. I will see you in class on Tuesday. Thank you.